What is up, beautiful people? It is the road to 100k a month, episode 13. And this week was just quite an eventful week, bro. We had a bunch of shit happen. Changes that we're making to our strategy as I backtested on Saturday and Sunday. So much shit happened, so much progress that we're making, so many lessons learned, changes that we're making, as I mentioned. And genuinely, I think this video for a lot of people is going to be super insightful. And a lot of mistakes that we made, not realizing for the past 13 episodes that we're gonna be, well, that we attacked and we handled in terms of our strategy. And now going into next week, I feel really good in terms of how we're gonna position ourselves. But let's get straight into this bitch, bro. And before anything, I realized my number one demographic for my viewers is my Americans. So for my Americans, happy 4th of July. I'm recording this at the 5th of July as it stands. Happy Independence Day, baby. America, baby. But aside from that, let's this is going to be a quite interesting video. So I don't think it's going to be beneficial. I go over my trades in detail purely because my strategy is going to be changed now. And all of these, if anybody watches my videos to learn, I don't think it's valuable for you to learn what I'm going to go over in depth as of this week, because as of Wednesday is when it clicked for me of like what I need to change and how I'm going to change it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to hyper think this in my brain right now. We'll just go off a lot of the things. We'll take this on the fly and I'll explain exactly my strategy as we go about this. But starting off with Monday. Well, one thing I actually didn't mention, bro. One update I've had. I didn't give my chess update recently, but my chess elo right now is 1400. We kind of dropped, bro. Like I thought we were, I think when we hit 1400, I was like, yeah, bro, we're gonna hit 1500, 1600, 1700, as I said, by the end of the year. Shit's gonna be tough, bro. Like, holy fuck, bro. Chess is, I'm noticing a specific level, at the level I'm at right now, I'm starting to hit a ceiling, but I'm gonna still push for it, bro. But that's an update. I've also started to play Blitz, which is like a shorter time frame. I think that's helping me with my just pattern recognition and speed for decision making. Which I think is actually going to be useful for trading, because in trading it's like, yes, you can, like I play like a 10-minute game when I usually play chess, but with like a shorter time frame and like more of a stopwatch on you, it gives you that you need to train that muscle for yourself to act quicker and move with precision. But that's an update for chess. As far as that, why am I looking at my computer? I'm gonna look at my phone here. But aside from that, our eval situation. So I did say at the end of the last videos, and this is the only thing I actually, like, I'm smiling right now, but it is kind of annoying because I don't like to say I'm going to do something and I don't do it. But I didn't get to my 5 evals, bro. We ended up having like a bracket loss, as I put here Monday. We had a violation, so like Apex took our account for some shit, bro. I think it was, I don't know what the reasons were, but it came back on Tuesday. But we had a violation. Is what it is, bro. I'm not going to complain. But we ended up getting new 5 accounts. And they are pretty much nearly going to be passed. So hopefully going into next week, we actually finally pass and we get to 10 accounts, which I think now it's going to be 11 accounts because I already passed 1 funded. So I have 1 waiting, but I want to get to 10, bro. That's what I fucking want, bro. But aside from that, that was Monday. So Monday, I mean, I'll kind of briefly go over the trades. I don't even think so. I'm just gonna put screenshots, bro. Like genuinely, I think this is gonna be more valuable. I think I'm gonna try and get to Wednesday, and I think it's more in what's the way to describe this? It's more productive if I just go over the new changes that I'm gonna be making. But that's the first trade. That was like 1.7k on our evals. I kind of saw it like an elastic band, which is kind of like a clue of how our new kind of model is gonna be trading by. It's kind of like that first trade. Second trade was 600 on our evals, again only evals. Third trade, we were down 500, etc. Fourth trade, and then we closed our positions, I think, here. So total end of day, we had a 1.9k profit day. That was on Monday, and I think that was with fresh accounts, because like I said, I had that violation on Apex accounts for some reason, but it is what it is. That was on Monday with fresh accounts. Then I'm going to put up a screenshot of like the 5-minute so you guys can see kind of like the macro level, how it was, all the trades I took. Like I said, super fucking messy, bro. I don't even think I took a funded trade. I just wanted to pass my fucking evals again, bro. And shit just kept fucking going left, bro. But Tuesday, One thing I will say, oh yeah, Tuesday update. So as you guys may know, part of my pre-market morning routine. I say morning routine. In Dubai it's afternoon. My pre-market routine is I have like a white wall stare, so it's kind of autistic, but I don't give a fuck, bro. But I just stare at my fucking white wall, bro. Pre-market, I stare at it. I've realized it's good because it regulates my dopamine levels. You know, I don't need to be like fucking moving around or going to my phone or fucking scrolling, whatever, as I'm trading. And one thing I've realized is I've now treated it like with the intention of like this is gonna be like for a relaxation purpose. So it's like I use it as a way to relax myself as well as regulate my dopamine levels. And one thing I've realized, it is low-key starting to compound. And I think a huge ROI is coming from that, in the sense that the outcome that it gives me by having that relaxation is it removes emotion and it adds a level of detachment. And I put here, also I don't give a fuck. Because I go into the market just super fucking relaxed after staring at a wall for like 15 minutes and just sitting down in the market, it puts me in like a zen state where my emotions are close to flat. So I'm not feeling any emotional levels whatsoever. And then as I put here, adds that level of detachment because I don't give a fuck, I'm just relaxed. And thirdly, I don't give a fuck. So I don't know if that even makes sense, bro. I'm sure it does make sense. But if you haven't tried it, and I would imagine maybe for some people it wouldn't work because they just wouldn't like, I don't know. But I do think net positive for a trader, this is a good habit to build. And something as an update that I've started to found as of this week is starting to compound for me. And that I'm seeing like a net benefit from. But going into Tuesday, that was our trade against the trend. That was our Eval trend, Eval trade. That was a stop loss. Second trade, this was unfunded. Recap, today should trade it on a continuation and traded with trend as set in bias. But again, yeah, it's just not the best setups, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And it's a realization for me because this is the kind of the model I've been trading since I fucking began, bro. And it's a 60% win rate strategy, which is why I've on average kind of been benefiting on. I got my first payout. I kind of managed things well, decently, you know, in the green every single week, most times. But it's not like a peak strategy, bro. And I feel like if I'm on the road to 100K a month, I need a peak strategy that I actually have an edge. And just this week has just been a huge realization, bro. And like I said, as you can see, it's just not a good setup, bro. But going into Wednesday was the 1st of July, so it's a new month, ready to crush. Feel good going into this month, testing new model, and then this is when we began, bro. The new model, getting the reps in, momentum building. Just a side note to you people, bro. This is actually a very interesting fucking point that I just put out here. 1 million people last year became millionaires. Are we fucking serious, bro? 1 million people became millionaires. So it's like, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's US only. I think it is. But I read that statistic, bro, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? We're like, bro, people are getting rich as fuck. I thought it's a really good data point because I looked at it and I was like, bro, like that's hella motivating, bro. That's just abundance of people hitting millionaire status. Now that felt good. As far as that, I'm actually gonna give you guys some source, bro. So where I got that, funny enough, where I got that statistic from was a newsletter that I read also in my pre-market routine, which is, I'm gonna put up on the screen. It's Liquidity by ExecSum, and it's newsletter. So Liquidity is the guy apparently, and then the newsletter is ExecSum newsletter, and low key fire, bro. It gives you kind of like, you know how you, again, I've studied a lot of traders recently as well, with even the audiobook that I'm listening to now by Hedge Fund Wizards, and it's kind of this guy, every chapter is like 45 minutes long, and he interviews specific traders in different fields, like in quant trading and discretional trading and fundamental trading. But the point is, one of the things I've realized is a lot of their routines as traders or as hedge fund managers is like, they read the newsletter, right? They read the, I don't know, whatever it is, the Wall Street Journal or the Times, to get kind of like a rundown of what's happening on a macro level. This newsletter is fucking perfect, bro. It's like all of them added together. It takes me like 5-10 minutes to finish. And it's low-key sick, bro. Like, even the guy who has memes in there, he gives you like, it kind of templates off number one headline news, kind of mergers and acquisitions going on, deal flow, VC funds, so like investments into companies. And I'm really realizing one thing that's actually beneficial that I realized is it also adds that layer of, once again, more abundance. Like, you read this fucking newsletter and you see it, and it's like tens, and it's sometimes I don't it's not hundreds, but it's tens of every single day. X company invests $400 million into AI startup, or this company does that, or this company is now trying to buy a full purchase on an aggressive takeover on X company for 1.6 billion. It's crazy, bro. And the reason it's crazy because it's like you read that pre-market, it gives you a macro level understanding, so you can kind of have like an idea and gauge an idea of like what is the macro sense, right? What's actually happening, like, and it goes over like when interest rates were about to go live, just a bunch of fucking macro level. But the point I'm trying to make though is I think it's a good newsletter for everybody to read. I'll put up once again on the screen exact sum newsletter, and yeah, bro, every single pre-market 5-10 minutes gives you a whole rundown of everything happening in just such a quick and efficient manner, and it's pretty fucking sick, bro. And I find it also motivational, as I said, on like the points where it's like X company invests or what's happening in mergers and acquisitions. It's sick as fuck, bro. Another thing I did on Wednesday, I will be testing no lyric music, and I actually feel like it actually has had a very big, profound level, a change on myself. Where I'm gonna start it off easier, because again, I'm a big lyric music guy. Like, I love fucking music with lyrics, but I'm gonna test it because I've seen and it has merit to it, where it can put you at a good state and a good frequency. So I'm gonna test no lyric music. In fact, you guys could probably even see it on my Spotify, bro. I'll put up my Spotify. Fuck it, bro. It's the same username as my Instagram. It's Jake Woods. So it's kind of like, it's the one with the glasses, bro. That's kind of my new playlist for this type of music. And I'm gonna test it, bro. And like I said, that's what I love about shit like this, bro. It's like I love testing shit and trying shit out, bro. But that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it from Monday to Friday in the trading week, into every trading day, and we'll see how that turns out. But as of that, Wednesday trades, we'll go over that. First trade again, and this is the fucking, now we can kind of start talking about this. That was the trade I took, and then as I put here in the circle, that's where I should have entered. And so I'll put up what happened straight after, if I had entered at that point, which is completely valid, full fucking TP would have got hit, bro. And so we'll go over like the rest of Wednesday trades if there was any. Then we had like a break even bullshit whatever one. Oh, that wasn't bullshit one. That was actually kind of on our new model. And as of like Wednesday, it's when we started to kind of trade this new model. But in essence, what it is for me is I'm gonna name it. I'm gonna name it for myself. I'm just gonna call it the pullback model. It's a pullback model, and essentially what I've realized, I'm gonna describe this in as quick and as efficient as possible. I have traded ever since I began from a continuation model, right? So as you guys can see on a lot of my trade setups and all the episodes prior to this, I trade based off continuations, right? So something happens, and then we get like a 50-minute gap or a 10-minute gap and a 5-minute gap, and it's just a build-up and it's a build-up and it's a continuation. What I've realized is I now need, and what I'm going to do, and I backtested this, and I'm going to share my results as well, because I just finished, like, as of this morning, my backtesting results. But I'm now going to be trading on the pullback. So as you guys can see, I'll put it once again on the screen because it's a perfect illustration of this model. And I'll put it side by side comparison of what I did in my continuation model and on the pullback model. And as you guys can see, it's that, bro. I've realized since I've began trading, my discretional take, my biases, my understanding of what's happening has actually been pretty fucking good, bro. The thing that I've realized as of Wednesday that was limiting me, or at least is lowering my potential, is my entry points. Is my fucking entry points. And like I said, I would usually enter at a continuation point, and it looks like a good setup, and that's why sometimes, and it's another reason why so many times we hit break even, and then it just, we hit our target and then we hit break even, is because we already topped out at the move. So what I realized with this new pullback model is what I'm going to call it. It's just a deeper retracement, and it gives you a better entry to hit the levels that you want to hit regardless. So I've seen a lot of traders in the space as well kind of trade on this, like an inverse fair value gap model. But for me, it's kind of on those lines, but I'm just going to call it a pullback model because that's what I really look for now. And what I did when I was backtesting on Saturday and Sunday is I want to see the pullback. And I look at it as like the bigger the pullback, the better the fucking entry, bro. So that's kind of the update. So that was Wednesday. And I was so excited, bro. I'm not even going to lie, bro. At the end of the session, I was hyped as fuck because I was like, bro, this could be the crack of the code that we needed, bro. Because and that's why I realized, bro, how many times like my stop loss triggered instantly, and how many times so many setups that were good setups that were fucked because of this old model. So I was excited because I thought I just discovered something, and I did. And in that moment, I also realized, I put here, I just had like a huge belief here. Is and another realization why I genuinely think I'm gonna make a fuck ton of money, bro, is because I love the game, bro. And I realized in that instance, and specifically on Saturday and Sunday as well, which was yesterday and today, is I love the game, bro. And I look at this shit like fucking puzzles, bro. And I kind of look at it like a chess game, and that's why I kind of like chess as well, because it's like you're solving a problem. And I think as well, it's part of the reason why I liked business. And I will always have a love for business. But the reason I wanted to be a business owner is because I always saw it as like a marketplace has wants and needs from clients and leads out there. And as a business, way a business works and how a marketplace functions is you have suppliers and you have companies and businesses who solve those problems and needs. And the whole act of even building a business is a fucking puzzle. As I have some of the books here from Alex Hormozi, it's about having a good offer. It's about getting leads. It's about then selling those leads. It's about scaling it. Then it's automating. Then it's delegating. There's just so many things in it. And it's kind of like a puzzle. And I look at trading exactly the fucking same, but just on an individual level. And especially, I mean, eventually if you have like a hedge fund, then it's obviously kind of like a company level. But I love that fucking shit, bro. And I realized on Wednesday, that's why I'm going to make a fuck ton of money, bro. It's because just as much as I'm motivated by the money and I love, and I'm sure I'm going to love exactly what the money will do to me, bro. The cars, the fucking houses. I don't care, bro. Anything. As much as I know I'm going to love that shit, it's more so the game, bro. I like the fight. It's kind of like a fighter, bro. You even notice in some of the interviews when you hear fighters, a lot of the time it's not even the title that matters. It's the fight. It's the pain. It's the struggle. It's the adversity. And being able to go out of that, get out of that ring and be like, fuck, I got out there and I was victorious. But more importantly, I got into the fight and I withstood that adversity. So it's kind of like for me, bro, and I realized that's why I think I'm going to make a fuck ton of money, bro. And it was actually one of the points I also got from Hedge Fund Wizards on that day. One of the chapters was about Ray Dalio, which I'm sure a lot of you know. And that was one of the edge Ray Dalio had. Ray Dalio had a very big edge on every single trade he would do. He journaled that shit. Like he journaled it and he reflected on it, and that's why he felt, at least one successful take for him was having that feedback loop for himself. And like I said, having that sense of reflection. And in doing so, that's how he kind of crafted his own puzzles. And he kind of got to the point where he's at now, where obviously a billionaire. But that was pretty sick, bro. And yeah, bro, and I also put here, like I also had a beauty and appreciation that day as well, bro. I had an appreciation for my consciousness to be able to live in a world where, bro, we can literally say whatever the fuck we want to do and actually do it. Like, at least that's my belief system. That's my beliefs, is that I really do think you can, and it's kind of like that Togi clip, if you guys know, when you've got like, when he was on like that podcast with that fat finance guy, bro, whatever his fucking name is. And he was like, no, you can't go to the fucking moon, whatever. And Togi's like, yeah, I fucking can, bro. And it's fucking true, bro. It's like, and like I said, I had a beauty and appreciation for being able to literally say like, I want to do this shit and I'm going to do it because I fucking can, bro. Just out of sheer audacity of like, fuck it, bro, I want to do X goal. I'm going to achieve X thing. So kind of even with this journey, like the road to 100K a month. And that was fucking sick, bro. As of Thursday, And then apparently, yeah, as of eight, like another roadblock on our evals. Apparently, our accounts got blown because we got to, I think it was like 50. Our profit target was 3K. I think we got to like 2.1, and then we dropped back down to like 50, which is like the baseline. I didn't realize that pretty much your drawdown trails with it. So I thought I still had like 48,000 remainder, but no, I had only till like the 50,000. So lesson learned again. But again, our accounts got blown, unfazed. We continued. And then as far as that, my trades, like again, I don't even think it's worth me going over them, bro. I mean, I can go over. I'll actually go up on like the third one. This is actually a funded trade. This was low-key just an intuitive trade. You know, it is what it is, but it's kind of like on that pullback. I waited for a pullback and just executed it. That was purely intuitional. I don't think that's I came up with a strategy as of Saturday and Sunday of how I'm gonna be entering, but that's the case. And post session. So one of the things I had post session, so this was before I backtested on Saturday and Sunday, is I was at a crossroad because, and just the realization I've had is this new strategy can maybe take a hit on the short term. Like as much as I can be optimistic here, I mean, just for reference, I mean, I'll share my backtest results after I make this point because that's the next thing on the agenda that I have here. But I've realized that like my mental, especially this week, my mental is actually starting to get really fucking good, bro. Like me just following that again, and I'm still staying consistent to that audiobook, bro. Again, if you go to my Spotify, I'll put it up again. I have it saved as a playlist. If you guys want, you guys can go straight there as far as my the audiobook that I'm listening to from my mental aspect. And yeah, bro, like I just feel like mentally I'm advancing, bro. Like I'm becoming more and more day by day the 100K a month version of Jake Wood, bro. And I'm fucking loving it. But on the physical world, and as far as my strategy, as much as I can be optimistic, and I think I can, there's always a possibility that we could take a short-term hit. But it's going to be better for the long run. Again, I think it's much better that I snap out of this habit of trading this shit fucking model from a continuation standpoint, which is the case. I can admit that. And take a hit on the short term, but know that long term, I'm going to be trading a better strategy. And that's an observation I had. And as far as that, just some hope for you guys as well. I realize this. I'm going to put it up on my computer as we speak, bro. Let me see. Stages of entrepreneur. I'm doing this shit on the fucking fly because I just need to remember what it was. Yes, bro. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put it on the screen. And that's what I kind of realized as well, bro. Like I as much as it's been a really good week, I also started to feel like I'm in these stages. But I'm going to put it up on the screen. A lot of you might have heard this. If not, now you fucking know it. But that's the 5 stages of entrepreneurship. And this, I genuinely think, can apply directly to trading as well. But the first point is uninformed optimism, right? So you see somebody online, you see your favorite creator, you know, somebody's making a fuck ton of money in trading. You're like, holy fuck, uninformed optimism. This fucking shit's cool. Let me give it a try. Second stage, informed pessimism. Now you start doing it, you start realizing, holy fuck, this shit's a little bit harder than I thought. Oh, I'm getting, you know, this isn't as easy as expected, etc., etc. Third, crisis of meaning. You start realizing, what the fuck, bro? Is this shit even worth it? Am I gonna give up? You know, do I continue going? What's the fucking, you know, crisis of meaning? Just that exactly as it says, bro. And as a trader, just imagining like, do I give up? Do I change? Whatever. And then the fourth stage is usually crash and burn. And this is where most people fucked up as entrepreneurs. And crash and burn usually means, and I would imagine, I'm going to try and think from a perspective of a trader, would mean either number one, you would give up. So you just give up on fucking trading and you do whatever the fuck. And fourth, I guess maybe you change shit. I don't fucking know, but you just crash and burn. You give up. I think that's the best way to put it as a trader. But you're going to be at a crossroad. And as Alex Hormozi represented in this stage, what ends up happening is most people go through the crash and burn, but you have that little curve in there, which is stage 5, which is informed optimism, where you start realizing, holy fucking shit, bro. We can start making progress. You know, I'm starting to make progress. I'm starting to understand things better. I can see a pathway of how I can actually get to the goals I want to get to. I'm starting to feel momentum building, consistency building. And that's informed optimism, where now you know exactly what trading is like, or whatever you do, but now you have optimism attached to it. And 6 is the final one, is achievement. You achieved what you wanted to set out, what you set out to achieve yourself, and you actually achieved it. And so I think if I was to analyze where I would be right now, you could argue that at the start of the week, and this is actually in a week by week basis, but I've been kind of in like a crisis of meaning. Not that I want to give up, but in like, no, that's fucking, I don't think so, bro. I don't think I've had that crisis of meaning. Because I know this shit, so I don't even, I'm not even say what I've been. I think what I'm going to be on right now, as of going into next week, is informed optimism, bro. I'm well aware of like the shit that I've gone through since I began, from like the past 13 weeks and like 3 months of me being on this journey. I've kind of realized the shit that can come with it, but I think now I'm at that stage where I'm informed by the shit, but I'm optimized. I'm filled with optimism. And like I said, with this new model, I think it could be it, bro. And like I said, after that point, it would be 6, which would be achievement, which in our case would be 100K a month. But I thought I'd share that because, again, I think a lot of people as well, if you're not, whatever level you're here, just I think it gives you a good aspect of knowledge and hope. Because, I don't know, some of you watching this might be in the crisis of meaning. You're at the verge of like, maybe you do want to give up on trading. Maybe you do want to, whatever ends up happening. Or you realize that, holy fuck, you're in informed pessimism. You start realizing trading might not be as easy as you may have thought. But I think it's a really good way for you to look at things and kind of give you a map of what's to expect. And that's the first thing that came to my mind when it didn't first thing come, it just randomly popped up and I thought I'd share. But going into Friday was like the early bank holidays. I think it was like early weekend for my Americans. Happy 4th of July. And yeah, bro, I'll put up on the screen. I actually traded them, bro. It was purely on evals, and yeah, bro. I mean, I didn't really give a fuck, bro. I just traded it, as we can see. So none of them, no testings, just pure intuition. I think we took like 4 dubs, 3 dubs. I don't know, and then 1 break even. But that's the case, bro. And as far as Saturday, I put here once again, love solving the game, love solving the puzzles. And yeah, bro, I generally, on Saturday and Sunday, I generally could not have thought of a better way to spend my Saturday and Sunday, bro. And this sounds so fucking autistic, bro. And like, I don't fucking know, bro. But it's like, I genuinely, bro, I was excited as fuck, bro. Because I knew on Saturday and Sunday, I would backtest my findings and actually test this model to see if it would work. And it did. And I'll kind of go over my thesis, my hypothesis, and of course, the results in brief. But essentially, Claude and I were in a fucking flow state. So I used Claude to kind of go over my backtesting strategy and kind of go around how we're going to be functioning about this new strategy and kind of backtesting it. And so Claude and I were in a fucking flow state, bro. So I kind of gave it all my trades and my journals from the month of June. And I realized that my pullback entries were 70% success rate, and my continuation chase entries was a 30% win rate. Now, the things I was going to test was, number 1, my high time frame bias, my confirmation present, right? So what would I actually enter off in terms of when we got this slight pullback in the retracement, my confirmation if it had held or faked, meaning if when it got to my zone, it stayed there or it just kind of faked. My time to confirmation, so my candles from tapping into my zone and then actually forming like a confirmation. And then the new result. And I also tracked the time of day, the stop loss, and see if that would have changed, and then the new result. And so I went through all of my trades from June, and I pretty much had a 91.6% win rate. We had 11 wins, 1 loss, 1 no trade out of 13 sessions. So, yeah, bro. And the whole point as well, bro, all of those setups were better risks to rewards, better setups, better intuition feels. For my backtesting, by the way, I didn't even use the liquidity points. So that's one thing to consider, but I would only imagine if I trade also with the liquidity levels when I start forward testing and trading in the live markets as of tomorrow. See, it's Monday. I think it's going to be really good, bro. I think it can even just give me even more of an edge. But that's essentially it, bro. Like, I can go into try in depth into like exactly how I went into it, but I think what will be more productive is I just go out there next week and I just trade everything and I just show you guys the results. And either it will emulate sort of the results I got from my backtesting, which is a fucking 92% win rate, or it fucking won't and it fails miserably, bro. I don't fucking know, bro. But nevertheless, I don't want to say I'm excited, bro, because I have to keep that nonchalantness. If that's even a word, if that's a fucking word, that's fucking sick, bro. But just kind of keep my head cool, not get too ahead of myself, and just show up on Monday open, ready to fucking crush, bro. But I just feel fucking good, bro. Like, I just genuinely feel like internally, mentally, like I feel like I'm making a lot of progress, bro. And I just love the process, bro. As I mentioned earlier, bro, I genuinely think it's why I'm gonna make a fuck ton of money, bro. And I say that with so much conviction. And you hear a lot of people, bro, successful people in all types of fields, entrepreneurs, business people. Part of the reason why they got to where they're at is because they had such high self-belief. I'm saying this ahead of time, bro. This shit's gonna get clipped up one day. I'm saying this right now. I just believe in myself on a hyper delusional level that one day won't be so fucking delusional. And that's the fucking plot twist. And so I genuinely am taking each one of these weeks with gratitude, with appreciation, because I know one day, bro, I will look back at these days and be like, holy fucking shit, bro. Jake when he was a fucking brokey. Jake when he was figuring out what he needed to do. Jake before he fucking had his fucking breakthrough. All of these different points. And I urge you, the thing you guys can take away from that is just believe in yourself, bro. I really do hope one characteristic, if there's one thing you take away from me, which I'm a big believer that in whoever you listen to and whoever you try and take advice from, you need to have something that you take away from them. Like I said, I think I mentioned in one of the prior episodes, I will never meet somebody and not take at least one lesson away from them. So I urge from people, or at least one thing I would like to see, or I would hope to see a lot of people get away from me is like alongside things like ambitious, whatever, I would generally say self-belief, bro. It's just I believe on myself on like a delusional level when everybody can be pointing the finger against me, bro. I don't give a fuck. And that's the beauty of it. So yeah, bro, I think more of like a talking episode here, bro, because like I said, I don't think it's going to be valuable for me to go over my old model that I personally will not be trading moving forward. And hopefully next week you guys can tune in and see how the performance of this new fucking model ends up being. And yeah, bro. Aside from that, I hope you guys had a good week. Hope you guys have a good week going into next week. Aside from that, keep fucking crushing.